Good morning, America. This is your good friend, Dr. Cherry, presenting you today with some pretty shocking news. You're not going to believe this. Even at my age, nearly 70 years old, I'm still being surprised and shocked on how not only the pharmaceutical corporations, the scientific matrix, the religious matrix, but the medical field can be so, what's the right word to describe them? Disgusting, maybe, should fit. Wow. Okay, listen to this. As you all know, I have had problems. I fell last August and it hurt my back and I hurt my hip bad. I had surgery. It's all fixed. It's all good. And in between, I've seen a bunch of doctors. Well, let me tell you the little story here. I went to see that doctor. I'm not going to say names because they have money, they have power, and I don't want them to. Even though I'm totally right to expose them, I won't do it. I don't want them to sign me to jail because you can't win with, trying to fight the power. You can't. So I went to. Okay, that's again omen that I have to be careful of what I'm saying here. Let's see. Let me put my light. All right, so I apologize about this. I'm gonna fix my light. It's gonna take a second. So sorry. Yeah, it's real. It's real. All right. So pay attention. This is a serious omen that I gotta be very careful. I don't want anything to crash on my head. So I gotta be very careful of the words I'm going to use to expose a doctor in Phoenix. Okay, so I'm not going to say his name. That was a good message for me to be quiet here. My subconscious in Draco tell me, be careful. Being a soul doctor, I'm very intuitive, and there are no accidents. Anything and everything that happens to you is an omen, is a message that you have to be able to perceive. Sometimes it's very obvious, like this one that just happened here, shocking, unexpected. So, all right, so what happened, and I went to see this doctor, and I went into his office. He just ran into the office, and he looked at me, and he asked me what I had. I said, well, I fell on my back, and I hurt my hip, and I'm supposed to go through surgery, and this and that. He looked at me, he checked me. I said, there's nothing wrong with you. I said to him, well, I think there is something wrong. I have a lot of pain. He goes, there's nothing wrong with you. I said, okay, you've checked me. I trust your professional judgment. However, did you look at the MRI? I brought a CD. He goes, oh, no. And he left. I said, what type of doctor is that? Trying to diagnose me, to give me a precise prognostic, yet he didn't even check the CDs. Next thing you know, secretary or someone else came along and they give me a bunch of stuff to adjust his findings, so to speak. So I was not happy. And I went and asked to speak to the president of the company here, and then finally making enough noise. So this guy, the owner, and a lady saw me in a private area, and I explained the situation. I say, hey, what type of doctor do you have here? Guy tells me I have absolutely nothing wrong with me. He never even checked my my CDs. They did everything they could to protect the doctor because this is how it works. Okay. They don't want to give him a bad name. So I went back home and I gave him a bad review. The next thing I know, I've been begging for a report of that meeting and everything else. And of course, the insurance company, which definitely works with the doctors. Now I know this for a fact. They never gave me the report. And then I finally got an attorney and I finally saw this report. Oh my God, what a shock I had. Of course, he was not happy for me to give him bad review. So do you know what he added in the report? He added that I told him that I felt on my back changing the tire of my car. Total lie. I was shocked when I read that, and I understood why they never wanted me to see the medical reports. So that to tell you guys, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. So that's all I'm going to say, because I'm not supposed to talk about my case, but that is something I want to share to you because it's an experience that you don't have to go through. It's pretty shocking. And again, I told you yesterday when I made my video, I said, you know, nobody is immune to the stars. So is there anything new or shocking or surprising that happened to you? Pretty much like what's going on with the news currently. And you know, I had to share that with you. So just be careful. The truth hurts. I'm a very honest man. I said the truth. The undiluted truth hurt, and that's why I have so many enemies, because they cannot handle or accept the truth as it is about themselves, and they talk, and then they're trying to ruin my name or my career. And again, you cannot expect less with me than the undiluted truth, and that's why I need your help. Okay. All right. Now let's go back to the news. See what's currently going on, which is pretty shocking. And I added a few pictures all there. This one is pretty weird and very shocking. It's a wild video out of Kazakhstan showing a crazy man at a zoo jumping a fence and riding a giraffe. Now, this doesn't happen every day. Okay, the guy is lucky because the giraffe, for some reason, was nice. I mean, it probably was under one of his positive cosmic biorhythm for 2019 for the giraffe not to kick him and kill him. So go and watch the video. You have the link. Okay, so it's on the same newsletter, which I will have to change some other time. Then another very shocking news that does not happen every day, but only during my windows, is that doctors find 526 teeth in a 7-year-old kid in India. I mean, the word children is mentioned, and that is shocking. What happened here? Well, you know, India, I mean, India, God knows what his mother ate, the father for that matter. One thing sure, the reptilians definitely went into the fetus of that mother and mess up the entire genes of that unborn child, and the result is 526 teeth in your mouth. And you know, there's a lot of deformities in third world countries. Mostly because many of these people are drinking water where you have a lost city upstream dumping all their shit. And that's enough to poison the body and allow the reptiles to do their job. So there is always a scientific, practical, logical reasons to why these happen. Water poisoning, God not was, but that is the reptilians stimulating the mind of those scientists to create all those poisons that those Indians in the third world country, which there is no much regulation, ingest, and the result is all sorts of deformity from this country. So I just wanted to tell you again that it's pretty shocking, and it's definitely the work of the reptilians. All right, now this old lady, she lived 99 years with organ all in the wrong place, and she did not know it. I mean, again, another manipulation from the reptilians started in the fetus, and then one day, obviously, this old lady went to the hospital, had some X-ray or something, and then find out, shocking everybody, that everything was upside down in her body. But again, for some reason, she made it. Okay, and doesn't happen every day. The type of shocking news would happen during my windows. We are still on that shocking, window, but we are moving real fast now towards the beginning or ending of important phases of life. So see if something is going to start or finish with you. Okay. What else do we have here? Shocking boat to show just how bad its Asian cargo problem. I cannot say it. Problem is shocking boat to show how bad Asian cars. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty. The word why I use that is because it's a shocking boat to show just how bad its Asian carp problem is. I mean, the keywords here is not only shocking, but also electricity and Asia, which is the carp from Asia. So you have three keywords that I use that translate into these news. If you watch the video, you're going to see a tremendous amount of carps jumping off the water. That's very shocking. Electricity was used, and it's Asia. I don't care about the news. I want you to perceive the keywords, even though that you may be entertained by watching all sorts of things that I put up for you here. Don't lose track. Understand what I'm trying to say to you here. So there is various windows that I use through and predict through my quadrant and obvious keywords. So you can enjoy the video, but pay attention to the message. Okay, don't miss the forest looking at a tree. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say to you here. Why long-haul airplanes are getting smaller? Well, again, aeronautic is mentioned, airport is mentioned. They're trying to save money, I guess, especially with all that happened lately, with all these big corporations that was predicted well before all this mess transpired. Another one, the boarding process includes a surprise for passenger on this airplane. Well, there you go. The air hostess was inside the compartment and saying, hello, hello, hello. It was pretty shocking. It was unusual. And it's pretty funny, but it shows how the reptilians or the draconis can use those windows in order to create the news. So the word aeronautics, airport, and shocking is mentioned, and here you go. It translates by this lady, getting into the compartment when you put all your luggages, and then saying hello to everybody. It's interesting, It's trying to. It looks like if the company is allowing people to be people, it's no damaging, it's no hurting, it's entertaining, it's different, it's shocking, it's unusual. It's exactly what my window and quadrants are mentioning and prepare you for. Okay, top U.S. Navy SEAL tells commanders in letters that we have a problem. Okay, now we are talking about all the latest news is all those soldiers and SEALs and Camp Pendleton in different area in California, in the United States, where all those soldiers are getting out of water. They're doing all sorts of things against the law. They're being sending home. It's just a mixture of insecurity, drugs, money. There's so many variation, but the result is now there is a big problem in the Army and being forced to be restructured. Part of my prediction, you could spend the $10 and learn and read the 2019 Personal and Universal Dragon Forecast, and you will see again that all that is involving large corporations. Even the government, particularly the government, will have to be forced to restructure. It's happening nonstop. So if you want to know what is for the rest of the year, just spend the $10 or your support and educate yourself. Again, the reptilians have access to all those young kids and making them behave in a very, very bad way when you're supposed to um, be more disciplined. That's how it works. Man walks free after 21 years in prison when a witness admits to the killing. Sudden enough, that this is a reality, and it's also pretty shocking. Um, I mean, here's how many people out there in jail that don't deserve to be in jail. Some people who have been caught by the cops smoking pot. The next thing you know, they're spending many, many years in jail. These people need help. They need education. I understand that this is a capitalist country where the poor has no voice. But as I told you yesterday, and when I was in the streets, if my government did not invest in me for 6 months and taking care of me for 6 months and give me a career, a job that allowed me to make $65 an hour in the United States in various um, places in construction and U.S. base, particularly U.S. base, I'd be joining a gang because I have no other option. Okay, so when you join a gang, you don't know better. So the government is not taking care of your kids, and then if you're not rich, then you're finished. You're finished. There is no option, and that socialism. It's moving. Remember, many, many, many years, Mr. Portsman and I, we had a lot of fight when I told him that soccer will be as big, if not bigger, than football in the United States. And look, my prediction many years later come to pass. Okay, Mr. Portsman is probably dead now. That idiot. We had fun fighting. I miss him. He could never, never match my wit, but it was fun. So basically, socialism is moving to America, but it's not something you should be scared of. It's all right for every one of you to have access to medical. You're talking about the most advanced country in the world, okay, that can give you the best of the best as far as the medical is concerned. Yet you have to be rich. That's not right. That is to you, it's right. No, when you see socialism, you've been indoctrinated to think socialism is terrible. If it wasn't for my country taking care of me for 6 months, I may be also, spending time in jail, 21 years in jail, because God knows what I would have forced to do, beating somebody, stealing, doing a bank in order to survive. This is real. It's so very crucial that you understand that the government has a responsibility to take care of your children. Doesn't mean you have to do nothing, and because you have fleas everywhere, you have a lot of people that don't want to work and they want to get the money doing nothing. So you might be able to bypass that. So you don't let the abuse get into you. So you've been indoctrinated. All American people have been indoctrinated to fear the word socialism. Okay? But you know what? I would rather a million times go for socialism or capitalism than to go in Russia. Okay. All right. I'm sure you understand now. All right. So that's the good news for this guy who was honest and spent all his time. Well, good thing he's gonna get some money from all that, and he deserves it. Body of Instagram stars found in a suitcase in Russia. Okay. Oh my God. I mean, that beautiful girl, very, very free, very open, certainly did not fit the Russian mafioso out there, the government. And they killed her and put her in a suitcase. You talk too much. It's sad. And again, the reptilians will use the ego, the technology. And then when you start to have a big name and you start to attract attention, you're going to be kicked. Pretty much like what happened to me with LinkedIn, exposing big, big people that hurt other people who are spending a fortune to advertise on LinkedIn. Me, I'm a nobody. So they kick my ass, regardless of how much people I can help. Too controversial, maybe too advanced. So when you start to have to get a name, be cautious. because the opposition will do anything to kill you. And that's what exactly the reptilians did with that beautiful young woman, which is now gone. Rest in peace, all I can say. Honeymooner drowned swimming in the ocean for the first time. Maybe this kid, this person was born with the tail of the dragon in Pisces. If you're born with the tail of the dragon in Pisces, you better be careful when you're in the water. Your subconscious may make you feel insecure around water, like you don't want to go, you don't want to learn how to swim. Maybe chances are you've been drowned in your past life, being victimized by the Christians, put a big Bible on your back. And if you didn't drown or didn't sink with a heavy book, then you were not a witch. That's how they did it in France. So that's pretty shocking. And this person not only may have had the tail of the dragon in Pisces, making him very unlucky around the water, but he could also, it is definitely, he was under one of these 2019 negative cosmic biorhythm during my shocking window. So he didn't get bitten by a shark, but he drowned. So it shows you that the beginning or ending of important phases of life now is moving on pretty strong. So loss of life. Remember, during this type of window, many months ago, I predicted the death of my mother. And David Icke, the same day, was stuck in LA, couldn't go to Australia to lecture as they stopped him having his visa. To a certain extent, I am against anyone speaking the truth. But when you start to say that 9/11 and Sandy Hook is conspiracy, didn't happen, or the Holocaust didn't happen, it's not surprising that he was turned down. Well, that's how it is as far as David is concerned. It was the beginning and the end, not only for him, but also for all the people that were waiting for him in Australia. And that's the day that I lost my mother. Again, you know what? This is my blessing or my curse, Shannon Draco. And as I'm at it now, I'm going to be doing a few UFO conferences, and I've been making some really, really nice 5x4 banners, with UFOs, flying saucers, and Draco entering my mind, coming out of my heart. I've got all these big banners. So next time I do a UFO conference and I do reading, people will understand that all those experiences accumulated since the age of 6 years old is what led me to my gift of making predictions and reading people. So they will not think I'm just a psychic, or they have no business talking about UFOs. Because sad enough, people can only see what they see, and they don't have time to investigate and make the appropriate judgment. You know what, guys? I've been talking and sitting on the same stage as the top UFO speakers. I travel the world with top UFO speakers. Now there is a new crowd. The new crowd is they're kids. David Welcock, Linda Eisenhower. What's her name? Laura Eisenhower. She's an astrologer. I was sitting next to her during one of these talk after the conference, or during the conference. I shared the same bedrooms, not only the stage, but the bedroom with David Icke when he was my friend. I mean, I've been very close friends to the top of the top UFO speakers. Many of them are gone. And I'm the only one in my slideshow, UFO slideshow, to start by mentioning the name. And you can see me and those guys in the past together, being friends, and paying respect so that we don't forget their commitment and their service to the UFO community. Yet some UFOs conference things I don't have what it takes to talk about UFOs. Excuse me. Even Linda Moulton, she does a fantastic job. I'm going to be with her in a ship for a week, even though that we don't agree about the moon being hollow and base for the reptilians. Linda is a beautiful woman. And she became who she became because of Coast to Coast for years. Linda heard me, she knows me, but she would never ever invite me. Why? Again, she doesn't like me. So I was on Hardbell and George knowing well before she was there. And now she got a name. She's all over the place, of course. She talks about UFOs, and she's a newcomer into the game as far as the speaker is concerned. But she is the cream of the cream as far as knowledge and passing on information and cost to cost for so many years. And and that is appreciated. So I'm not denying anything about values or diminishing powers, education, or a way of passing on all this information. But I'm still questioning: has she ever seen a UFO? Forget about talking about with an 18 like I do. But when I have people that do not understand or know me and see me just as a psychic instead of being a real contactee and proving it to the world with my prediction and my undeniable UFO predictive legacy, it's kind of a mind-boggling to me. But hey, that's how it is. I just had to share that with you. Pretty shocking to me, but that's how it is. So what else do we have here? China military post video of soldiers storming fake Hong Kong street. That's bad news, my friend. It's shocking. I mentioned Asia, and now the, a video of soldiers storming into fake Hong Kong. Are they sending a message out there? You have to remember the future is the reincarnation of the thought. So when you see a video, probably with a soldier, shooting and killing people, they won't care about these kids demanding for true freedom, emancipation from abusive government, control their lives. It's not good. It's not good. So I'm very worried for the next SOS to the world deadly window when the extraterrestrial, the reptilians will enjoy that window and manipulate those winds against those kids. I hope it just stopped at a video and that be it. But I doubt very much. And again, if you look at some of my previous newsletters, I already have the date of future Plutonic window. And if you listen to the last radio show, you have the link right at the top of the newsletter. You can write those dates. I was on the radio yesterday again for about 2 hours. Man, it was absolutely incredible. Those two guys asking me all sorts of questions. This will be available in August sometime because it's pre-taped and then it's going to go into the public. I can't wait for you to listen to this. Again, Kerry Cassidy, Project Camelot, is going to have me on her show on the 7th. Again, we're going to have an interesting discussion here. During that show, we're going to be under a Plutonic deadly window. So anytime I go in the air during this type of Plutonic window, it's absolutely mind-boggling. It's a wake-up call for a lot of people. At the same time, I have to be very, very careful to what I divulge that night. Carrie is phenomenal. I already been on her show before. She only invite people that she knows have a connection with the divine or people that are interesting and have connection with UFOs. She's very, very much of a professional. I can't wait to delegate with her wit and see what type of questions she's going to ask me. But I'm telling you, that's not going to be a normal show. Not with the Plutonic window when that's going to take place. So tune in, let's have fun. What else do we have? 5 police officers face discipline in Stormy Daniels strip club arrest. Again, if the Army and the Navy kids are, going through a lot of problems, being victimized by the reptilians, chances are not only the Army and the Navy, but also the police force will be affected and infected. I mean, I tell you what, guys, you heard me earlier talking about the medical matrix, where you would hope the integrity of a doctor, just because you correct a doctor, his ego went right in my face, and he made up a lie. that I fell on my back changing a tire. Man, I went in his office. It was a freaking crouch complaining about my back, my hip. And the doctor I saw before, no bending, no, nothing. I couldn't do nothing. And he made up stories because his ego is now hurt. He's got bad review on his website. Be careful, man. You have to be very careful on what you say, what you do. People don't like the truth. And as I said, it cost me a lot. Oh, wow. Let me see. All right. Now let's see what we have. Is the future of space travel just for super rich people? All right. That is the word technology is definitely a mansion, spaceship, whatever. It's all there during this window. That's exactly what I said in many of my previous YouTube videos. And I'm glad to find out that I'm not the only one. Those greedy corporations are aiming for the rich and not the normal guys like you and I who work a normal job. This is just to entertain the very freaking rich. And I like what the author of the article wrote. He wrote, the space barons are shrewdly, one might say cynically, tapping into our respect for astronauts and our idealism about what space represents. New Yorker writer Seridwen Dowey wrote in a piece published last year, they seem to be counting on us to be awestruck by whatever it is they've done in space, and to overlook the fact that their motives are not exactly pure, nor are their method of getting us there egalitarian. Yeah, my hat to you, my friend. Yeah, first of all, you're never going to go on Mars, believe me. You know, maybe you might stimulate a 20-year-old, you know, suicidal, idiot, egocentric kid, 20, 30, 40 years old, who wants to make his story and, you know, put the first foot on Mars. You have no idea. You have no idea what the greedy, manipulative, scientific, infected matrix is doing. Oh, the only place they're going to go is the moon because they've been there and it's next door. Or maybe the space station. And that's going to cost you a few thousands. And only if you got plenty of peseta, you're going to go there. But don't go there. It's still a very dangerous place. Forget about Mars. We're never going to go there. And I'll be dead and you still discuss. Because people are stupid. You know, when you've been fed the same stuff for years, you know, you're going to find it very hard to change. Oh, well, that's what makes people like, you know, maybe like, successful. Fear, stupidity, ignorance, lack of cosmic consciousness. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have his genius applied in various parts of his talk and his speech, because conspiracy are real, believe me. But not when it comes to, you know, reptilians. In other words, only the rich, only the famous Queen of England, Obama, whomever, will turn into a lizard. Cuckoo. But he cannot change his plan. That's how it is, you know. And if you have fear of the government, if you have fear of power, you're going to assign yourself to his teaching, working for the reptilians, you know, feeding you with fears and insecurity and nonsense so that he can go all the way back to the bank and laugh at your ignorance. That's going to stop sometime. All right, let's move on to something very interesting, which is a special message for you, okay? The Impossible Whopper is coming to every Burger King in America next week. That is definitely reptilian stimulated, okay? You need to understand that Impossible Foods use genetic engineering. And that means involving science. And believe me, you're not going to know exactly what's going on. What do they put in there? Or they're going to make all the ingredients, you know, tasty and natural as much as possible. They're going to use all sorts of soybean, some beautiful substitute, whatever it is that you find attractive. And then you're going to fall for it because nothing is organic. Okay, that is my first message. My second message is, in America, you eat a burger and you drink a Coca-Cola. Okay, so all these fatty cells goes right into your bloodstream and clog your veins. That's why in France we say a glass of wine a day will keep the doctor away. If we have a big fat steak, okay, we drink a glass of wine, and the alcohol break down the meat and help to break down the fat. Not in America. Okay, that's why we live a very long life. So think of alcohol as a substitute, as a help to ground your burger into your guts. Okay, let's put it this way for those who do not assimilate my information. But what is worse? What is worse? God created cows with a lot of flat teeth in their stomach to eat only grass, and creates tigers and lions and wild animals with fangs and claws to tear up steak and eat steak. And the digestive tract, it's either very long or very short, not like ours. This means they're herbivore and they're carnivore. And we are omnivores, which means we're supposed to eat both. If you don't, you're not going to have enough Mars in your body. Meat is red. Red is Mars. That's why we call it the red planet. Mars regulates the animal instinct, the drive principle, the war-like energy. Mars regulates in a male chart how he's going to show his masculinity, and in a female chart the type of man she's going to like. If you don't have enough Mars into your body, you're going to become repellent. You're not going to have the power. You're not going to have the energy, and that's going to open doors as the reptilian plant through the scientific infected community to neutralize your fire, your internal fire, put it this way. You're not going to have the sexual drive needed to reproduce properly. Again, part of the reptilians also creating all these gays and lesbians. You heard my video earlier. Nothing against gays and lesbians. They are my good friends, student, client, friends, very close friends. I love them all. Okay. They've got the same red blood, so to speak, very smart, very, very smart, very curious, very gifted, artistic, intuitive, name it. Nothing wrong against the gay and lesbian, LGBTQ, whatever, okay? Understand what I'm saying? Okay, all right. Now, so what I'm trying to tell you here, Mars is called in Greek mythology the Lord of War. He regulates your animal instinct. How you're going to go after a woman if you're going to have the power to reproduce. So having all this thing here in your body is not natural. Secondly, the millenniums were all born with Pluto in Virgo, which means they are born health fanatic. They are puritanical. They don't want sex. They're not like us. My generation of Pluto, the planet of life and death, into the sign of Leo, love and life and happiness. The baby boom generation. Before us, we had Pluto in Cancer, Pluto, death, drama, Cancer, home, family. July 4, 1776, America, a Cancer country, suffered drastically. Home being destroyed, children being killed, security not there, food very, very scarce. First and Second World War. That's what Pluto in Cancer did to the world. And after that, the world has to replenish. So the planet of death and drama, sex and rebirthing went into the sign of Leo, my generation. Love and light, freedom, Woodstock, hippies. Interesting generation we are, very happy. And then comes the Pluto in Virgo, the millennials, okay? How they are, just Google, Dr. Curie millennials. You have a lot to read about this generation of perfectionist, health fanatic, lunatic, hypochondriac, born, cold, irrational, practical, Virgos. Not saying Virgos are bad. In fact, they are the best student that I have. All of them, the top one are one in September. And that's one of the reasons why Laura Eisenhower, when I was speaking next to her, is a Virgo. That's why she's an astrologer. That's why she probably listening to my work and learn from me. She used my artwork for many, many years, and I never sued her for that because I know better. To me, she's a kid. So anyway, the only problem is I didn't have a grandfather named Eisenhower. Well, that would have helped me pretty much in my career. Or like David Icke, receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars, coming here with a limousine and a big $1 million house with a big fat contract. I didn't have all that. I came here with $50 and I made my way up. That's just the way the Reptilius and the Draconis works. So yeah, take it from me, my friend. Take it from me. Do not trust the scientific community making you eating engineered genetic food. Stay natural. Eat your steak. Don't feel guilty. Okay, animals do not have to suffer. I understand that, but they're not like us. They're not necessarily aware when you take a cow to the slaughterhouse. Or they don't know. That's why they were designed by God. Okay, to support us. We are the top of the food chain. So if you don't eat meat, you're going to be cold. You're not going to have the sexual power. You're not going to have the energy. You're not going to be able to reproduce in the long run. So you're already melting into that engineering, a reptilious agenda. Soon you're going to have a artificial brain, so to speak. Okay. So remember, the reptilians have lost everything that means spiritual values and nature. They are master of matter, master engineers, and humanity is at that verge to move on that directions. And that's why I'm trying to warn you. Okay, work with the reptilians is literally giving your life away. Do not fall. Do not fall for science. Do not fall for the medical field. Do not fall for the pharmaceutical corporation. I just told you shocking news that happened to me. It was this sucker, it was this doctor who didn't like to be put in place and to take the time to take care of his patient and take the time to actually watch a MRI before giving a precise diagnostic. And he didn't like that. That's where we are. So I wanted to share that with you, my good friends. Remember this window here, beginning and ending of important phases of life. So we are in that energy. Just be careful out there. Be safe. Make it a beautiful day. Bye-bye.